Okay, so I just got done watching Inside, the new Burnham special, um, and I hesitate in referring to it as just a comedy special because I feel like that would be a disservice to this. What I just watched was fucking amazing, and I wanted to make this video because I want people to be aware of this and I want people to watch this. And I know that, it is on the front page of Netflix right now. So I don't know how much realistically I'm really adding to this, but that I will say, if you are interested in watching it, and again, I highly recommend watching this, um, leave your phone in a different room, um, and just pay attention. I left my phone upstairs, knowing that I was kind of going like, all right, Bo Burnham's comedy can be thought provoking, and I wanted to just kind of like, zone in on it because it's been 5 years since his last comedy special, um, and he talks a little bit about why that is in this, and what I was saying earlier about how I hesitate calling this just a comedy special. This was so incredibly thought provoking and relevant. And on top of that, I was able to relate with a lot of it, which is always um, something, obviously, the same way for everyone. I'm not unique for this, but that attracts me to it very quickly, largely because I can't relate with a lot of things. So when I see something like this where I go, oh, I have these same thoughts and feelings, it really does resonate with me because I don't get to have that feeling very often. And to have something that's on the front page of Netflix say things where, you know, I feel like I could be saying them myself. It's a weird feeling and it's really good. And there's I'm not going to spoil anything because I want you to just enjoy this, but there's one part where he's just laying on the floor on a pillow talking into a microphone, and the things he was saying there, I was the whole time I was just going like, is this my inner dialogue or monologue, whatever you want to call it? This sounds like the inside of my head. And there is one song where he mentions derealization. That whole song was already really hit. The last 20 minutes of this special are they really made me think about things. I was certainly laughing, especially in the beginning. There's some like genuinely really funny, very relevant humor, and a lot. It worked really well. And then towards the end, I started really thinking, and that the derealization thing I'm talking about. The reason that hit for me is because derealization is something that I actually struggle with myself, and I have since I was 16, just turned 16 when it started for me. So that's going on 4 years this year. Good Lord. So yeah, when he mentioned derealization, I had already felt connected to the show and felt like I could relate with it, with a lot of what was being said. And then when he said that, because I don't meet many people who even know what this is, so when I heard that, it felt really special for me. um, I mean, he touches on aging, he touches on politics and capitalism, and dopamine fixes that we're getting with social media and sensory overload, and so many different topics that are so incredible, and climate change too. And there are so many things that are being talked about here. And this is what I've always liked about Bo Burnham, is how well I find he's able to talk about these things without directly just sitting down and being like, I don't know, it feels genuine. There's something that feels very genuine about it. And aside from that, aside from being a very, relevant and with a lot of social commentary, this was a very personal show. And but Bo Burnham's never, he's kind of delved into that in past specials. He hasn't been closed about mental health, I wouldn't say. He's been fairly open about struggling with depression and things like that. Not going into detail about it, but just, it's no secret that he's dealt with it. Um, it felt very vulnerable, a lot of it. I mean, there's scenes where he's just fully naked. I mean, you don't see stuff, but like he's just sitting there fully naked, and there's this vulnerability about uh, not even just the songs, but also about just with the things that he says. And as I said, the last 20 minutes of this are incredibly um, captivating, and I really found myself just like completely in it. I like it just engulfed me in, and he's very good at that. The climax for the last one, Make Happy, I think it was called, did that for me as well back in junior high when that came out. Because I was almost in high school then. That's so weird, man. And that's another thing. He talks about aging because he's turned 30, and there's some weird feelings associated with that. It's not, obviously that's not one that I can relate with. I'm not 30, but I am turning 20 this year, which is still, that's a weird one for me. I feel like there are going to be more people who are around his age who are going to be able to relate with that part. Probably a bit better than I can, but I was able to acknowledge the the fact that we are all aging, and that there was a, I don't know, man. I'm not the best. This is why I tend to script out my talking videos, because I tend to go on these tangents and not know what I'm gonna say. But yeah, man, I don't know. This was really really good, and I highly recommend you watch it. I'm gonna have to rewatch it at some point just so I can um, experience that again. Um, the song that he played on guitar, I loved. That might have been my favorite one, probably. And I don't know if that's because he mentioned derealization or whatever. And then I'm going, I feel so connected to that song, because of all the other things that he's saying. There's this thing about Bo Burnham where he's able to take, and this is not just him, but like a lot of comedians are able to take like things that we see as normal and just these mundane things, and then go, hold on, like, yeah, that's cool, but can we also acknowledge how fucking weird this all is? And that's one of the reasons that I love comedy so much, and why I watch so much comedy, is because I like that breath of fresh air of instead of just seeing the things that I'm used to in the world and having people just kind of, brush them off as things that we're used to seeing. It's nice to see someone go, yeah, that's really fucking weird, man. And because it's something that I often think myself, where, and as I said, like, I don't even know where I'm going with this at this point, man. I'm so like, I'm just in my head right now because of that. There's I mean, and there's some silly humor in there, of course. Like, there's some silly bits, um, but it feels very, I don't know, I don't know. It was filmed in one room over a year. All I haven't even talked about the technical side of this. My God, let me do that before I end this. Filmed in a year with Bo Burnham just in a room by himself. He wrote it, he shot it, he edited it, and he did everything else. Like, people helped produce it, so they gave him money to do it. But he made this all himself, and the production value of this is amazing. And I mean, obviously he has directed like a feature film, and he's probably done more work that I'm not aware of, and I haven't seen Eighth Grade, but I would love to. I really really want to see that movie. I just haven't gotten around to watching it yet. The production value here is amazing. This is shot and lit so well. I was blown away almost immediately by how well produced this is, and the music is very high quality. It's very very well produced, well written music. And yeah, man. I mean, comedy can be very thought provoking, and this for me was one of the more thought provoking specials that I've seen in a long time. Which, again, I struggle calling it just a comedy special because I think it's a lot more than that. And yeah, I just wanted to vent about this to someone. Yeah, well, that's probably relevant to the show, isn't it? All right. Well, look, thank you for sitting here and listening to me do this. Please, please, please go watch Inside if you have Netflix. Man, yeah. Yeah, that was something else. All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys with all the support. Of course, I say this all the time. I don't want it to get tired, and I really do genuinely mean it. But yeah, I felt so connected to this and related with it a lot. So I hope that it kind of does the same thing for you that it did for me. And to me, it really did set out in doing what Robert wanted it to do. Yeah, it did put a smile on my face, and it made me feel less alone, which is, that's fucking priceless at a time like this. So, yeah, all right. I guess that's about all I have to say.